but we use for quarry. Let's see. Low for quality. Yikes. Too slow for quality. It's not liking something. Switch. Connection too slow. Just trying to do a stream for the cut files. I just want to see how this is working. It'll take me a minute to get set up. Okay. One person in the chat room, thanks for joining me. I just sent out a text, so give me a minute. A couple more people to show up. I'm going to do a cut file demo on the silhouette portrait. Hopefully. And, right, so as you probably know, the new collection is out. New chapter. Kelly did an awesome book stack that we put on a mug and a t-shirt. And the cut files are available in in a couple of these. Can you guys hear me? I have the chat room open on one. This is going to be a little bit difficult to do by myself, but I think I'll manage. So the cut files are included in the printable bundle here, and also just cut files here. So this is just cut files, and this is cut files and printables. Some items that are in the printables won't be in the cut files because it just doesn't make sense to have them in there. I think there's about a 40-second delay, still waiting for anyone to tell me they can hear me. I'm assuming you guys can. I could turn this audio up myself and check it there, huh? Yes. Okay, so the audio is there. All right. So when you go in and purchase, after you purchase, I'm going to try to run this from the beginning as if you're doing it from scratch. So you go in and you make your purchase. After your purchase, it'll take you to your screen where you can download your files. So I'm going to download the cut files. So new chapter cut files. And so that'll start downloading. It says 4 minutes. I don't know that I should wait the 4 minutes. Yeah, that's probably too long to. I was wanting to do the whole thing from scratch on here, but what I can probably do is just paste them in here. Cut lines, upload. Okay, so I'm just going to pretend I downloaded them. And once you download them and find them, they are a zip file, which let me stop my download. They're a zip file just for keeping the directory structure together and making things easier. So unzipping them is like different on different machines. I like to right click and check my options. However you want to do it, extract them. And it's going to extract them into this folder that I have open here. Okay, so now here's my folders. Now Corey had requested some cut files, so she wants snippets on white stock. So what we do is we open up our Silhouette Studio, and so I have a blank one here. Once Silhouette Studio is open and you have your extracted cut files, screen set up here. I believe she wanted snippets. Snippets on white. Okay, so I'm going to go to the snippets directory, double click on that, and then the page that you want. So I'm going to do page 1. And if you're on a Cricut doing Cricut Design Space, you would do it differently, which brings up a good point that I wanted to show everybody. Was in the product description, I believe, you'll find a link for directions, and they're quick and simple, so you don't have to. I like quick and simple directions, so you don't have to sit for a long time, like now, waiting for people's computers to do stuff and whatnot. It goes through the directions fairly quickly. I emailed our help desk today about why our site is running slow. Waiting for my product to open. In there should be a link that will tell you to go to the directions or pull up directions on how to do your cut files. And that takes you to this page. And on here, if you scroll down a bit, there's directions here for doing silhouette and directions here for doing cricket. So I'm going to be going through these set of directions here for today. So here's a free file. If you go here, there'll be directions on that I just showed you, and the directions can also be found here. So that's another way that you can always find the directions for cutting these out. Okay, so back to what I was doing. So I'm doing silhouette. So we want to pull in the PNG, and it doesn't matter which order you do these in. And then if you click on it, you want your dimensions to be the 6.74 by the 9.24, which it is. And then you want to center this on the page. You can either click this button here, which is center to page, or you can do object align center to page. So now that's centered. It's the right size, 6.74 by 9.24. Now we want to do our DXF file. So pull in your DXF, and if you have a better version of Silhouette Studio, it won't pull it in grouped. It gives you more options, and the way it'll come in for you is it'll be ungrouped. So if you click on an item, and like if you go to move this back onto the page, you'll just pull individual items. So we don't want that. We want it as a group. So if you have that version and it does that, you click and drag around everything, make sure you get the four corners, and you do object group. And now we want this size to be the same. So in the width, we do 6.74, and the height is 9.24. Oh, and make sure you hit enter. If you just hit tab, watch, it's not going to change size. I like using keyboard shortcuts, and sometimes it gets you in trouble. It never changed. So if I click in here and I hit enter, watch the size change, just ever so slightly. Enter. See, it changed just a little bit. So if you go in and you change it and you hit tab, it's going to show those numbers up there, but it won't actually change. So now we're going to do center to page on that one too. Now let's do our registration marks. We're going to do type 1, and I like to make them as small as possible. What this hash area is you can't have anything printed in that area. And what the red line is you can't cut anything beyond that red line. So I'm going to make these as small as possible. If you don't make these small, what's going to happen is it's going to push out these registration, the don't print area. It's going to push it in further, and if it gets in too close to these areas where the red is printed, you're going to get a registration error every time. So this is kind of an important step, that you move these out so that that hashed area gets away from your printed. Okay, so now we've got our cut lines, we've got our image on there. I'm just going to check the chat room real quick. All right. So now that's done. And now we want to, I'm kind of doing this on the fly. I don't ever use Silhouette Studio. I've always used Adobe Illustrator. So if we click on send and we change it to line so that it cuts by line instead of by line color instead of like layers or anything, now we can go in here and we can tell it what each of these are. So like this black one that's going around the red outside ones and the registration marks, that one doesn't really need cut. The green is our kiss cuts. So when we click on that, you need to change this to whatever type of material you're going to use for kiss cutting. So on mine, I have set up a custom one called KC for Kiss Cut. And then the yellow is, if you'll notice down in the right, oh, my mouse doesn't show up, does it? I just remembered now that my mouse doesn't show up. In the lower right, how could I have something to show you guys what I'm talking about? Maybe if I move this box around. Okay, so I'm moving my mouse in the upper left corner of this box, and I'm going to try and use that to show you what I'm talking about. So down here, the yellow marks just lets you know, if you cut that first, it'll let you know how well your registration worked. And sometimes you can save some sticker sheets if your registration didn't go right by not going through and cutting it. So you want the yellow to be like the first thing that gets cut. It'll go down there, it'll cut that, and then you can take a look at it and see if you want it to cut the rest of the sheet. And then after that, you want to do your green, which is your kiss cut, and then after that, you want to do your purple, which is your full cut. So I'm going to change this to my full cut, which I normally use like cardstock plain. Okay, portrait 2 unavailable. I guess maybe I didn't turn it on. Let me turn that on, grab my sticky sheet. Oh, now I need to print. Okay, so, or did I already print? I may have already printed that. Let me check. Nope. So let's print this. File. Print. I'm going to go to the XPS 960. I'm going to change my preferences to a high quality. I have like plain sticker paper in there. And OK. And print. Let that print. Let's see, is there anything I can talk about while we're waiting? Showed you how to download. I showed you, so if you do shop new, that's where our new products are. Okay, so my print is going to the printer now. Oh, let's do a save. So save this so you don't have to do this every time. So file, save as, save to hard drive, and then pick somewhere where you're going to keep all of your cut files. So let's call this like new chapter. What was this? This was snippets, wasn't it? Snippets. New chapter. Snippets. Page 1. Save that out so you don't, next time you want to print it, you don't have to go through those steps. Okay, so I've got my printed sheet here. Let me change the camera. Though. This off. The best way I've found to put your sticker paper on that, and you hold this curved away from you, and you line up this corner first. Line the paper up that. That you get the best alignment on. It won't cut right. It'll register, but it won't cut right. So let's load this in the machine. I haven't used this portrait. Is to you guys? Somebody's calling me. I have been. All right. Here. Then from here, we're going to do send to the portrait. And you'll hear the portrait doing its thing. Its registration. Setting the depth of the blade. Would pause it. You'd hit the pause button on whichever type of machine you have to do that. Down on that yellow and make sure you won't have wasted a sheet if it doesn't register properly the first time. Oh, and then hit pause to unpause it. And so that's and so now I would go in and do file new and do another one. So do snippets page 2. Snippets page 2, you just go through the same process, silhouette, drag in your PNG. I don't think it took it. 6.74, 9.24, center it on your page, grab your DXF. If it isn't grouped, group that. Change your dimensions to 6.74, 9.24. Make sure you hit enter. And then center it to the page. Run your registration marks. Type 1. Make these small. Save it out. File. I'm going to print first. File, print. Print to there. Oh, let's change our colors before we save it. Change this to line. You want yellow first, then green, then purple. We don't need to do this black. Doesn't matter what yellow is set to. Change green to whatever you use for your kiss cut. Change purple to whatever you use for your full cut. So let's save that out. File, save as, save to hard drive. We're going to do this as page 2. Alright, so our sheet is done cutting. So let's eject that. And the best way I have found to get paper off of these, some people start to peel it and they wood and they start to peel this away from the paper rather than the paper, is I just lift up a corner and I take a ruler and I hold this against my stomach and I slide underneath. Take this off. So this is what's around the outside, and then to see if it sticker paper is if you fold it braided instantly. That's a real quick and easy way to all of those pieces stay behind there, so we know this is a good sheet. So what I wooden ruler in underneath, and what that does for you is that gets you a nice flat. This corner is a little bit curled, but you can reverse curl it. That is a really. Let's get snippets page 2. From each other, line up this corner perfectly. So as it's pulled away, line up that edge. Go back to our software. Let's send that portrait. And you every sheet, so I got the snippets done. If you have any questions, please. I will probably just doing the same thing over and over again now. So honeys, page 1. Bring in our PNG. Oh, I just heard it do the registration or before it cuts the entire sheet. Okay, so the honey 6.74, 9.24, centered page. Size to 6.74, 9.24. Turn on our registration marks. Move those down. On. Change this to line. Then first. So it doesn't matter what this one is. Save out your sheet. Before I wasted all that time. Print. Alright. Only 5 people in here, and 2 or 3 of them might be me. So there's only a couple people, which is fine. Watch later. I don't see any questions. It's doing the full cut on the sheet now. We can do this next, honey. File new. Go to our Honey's page. So Honey's bundle. Center it. But if it isn't grouped, change the size. Center it to the page. Make sure things look good. Make them smaller. Change it to line. Green, then purple. Doesn't matter what the yellow is. Green is. And purple is whatever you use for your full cut. Save it out. 2. And let's. Whoops. Peel this off. Ah. The full cut. Didn't full cut that. With that, what you can do is you can go into a sheet and just have it do the full cut. Turn those off and make sure it's set right. Cardstock plane. Send that. And let me check if I did that one right. Cardstock plane. Oh, it wasn't the honeys. That one was snippets page 2. Huh. Set to cardstock. All right. Well, thank you very much.